Hello, good evening and welcome. This is another video, and we're not going to be doing a vacuum cleaner video on this one because I've had a request come in on the washing machine video I did a little while back on the review of this. Somebody's requested that I put some footage of me using this again on a different type of programme. Now, whilst I enjoy watching machines going, my camera will not record the entire wash on here. So what I intend to do is to do 3 separate videos, well, having this wash done in 3 parts, which I think other people do on their channels, rather than doing it all in one single video, because then I have to run it all through the editor, and it takes hours to do, and then it takes longer for uploading it to YouTube, and then YouTube takes longer to process it, and quite honestly I can't be bothered with all the hassle. So like I do with the vacuum cleaner videos, I will be recording it onto the camera and uploading it straight to YouTube with no editing. That's the fastest way for me to do it, to put these videos on. So the way I'm going to do it is that we're going to have the coverage first of me loading it and putting the powder in, and then we will start the wash off, and then I'll put the camera down on the table down here. I've got to get the table first and put it down there, and we'll focus in on the action that's going on in there for the main wash. I will have that on for about 15 minutes or so, because the main wash basically is the same action over and over again, right to the end of the main wash, which can take up to about an hour. I'm going to be putting it on a 40-degree synthetic cycle, because we've got sportswear in here, what I normally wear, tracksuit bottoms and sweatshirts, and there's underwear and socks and stuff like that, and it'll all be going in there on a 40-degree synthetic wash. So the first video will be action from the main wash, and then I'll come back and film the second video when it starts doing the rinses, and we'll probably have about a half an hour video on the rinses section with the intermediate spins, and then I will probably have the last spin as a separate video again when it does the final spin. Now, this washing machine is very old. It's 12 years old, and the drum is fairly well worn on there. I think it could possibly be starting to suffer from drum bearing failure, because it does start knocking a bit now on the spin. So I think that this machine's days are pretty much nearly over, I'm afraid. It's very sad for me, but I think within the next, it might be within the next few months, it might be within the next few weeks, that this might fail, and I'll have to buy a new washing machine. Normally when it's either the spider or the drum bearing, but there's something here which is causing that drum to start knocking on the final spin. And I would imagine by the slight movement that I get when I rock the drum up and down, that it's more than likely it's either the bearings or the spider. Sadly, that's the fate of most washing machines these days. They suffer from bearing failure, or the circuit boards go, but most likely it's drum bearing failure. And this machine's not really had a very hard life, to be honest, so it's lasted 12 years, but if it had been in a family, it may have only lasted about 5-6 years before the drum bearing started going. So, you know, you've got to make up your own mind on that, whether you think that's long lasting. So anyway, let's have the load put in. So we'll put the focus the camera down a little bit. There we go. So we can put the load in, and then we'll put the powder in. So basically it's, like I say, it's all like a mixed wash of synthetics and socks, and then after we've done all this we might have some coverage from it being in the tumble dryer for about 10-15 minutes. See how that one works as well. That's usually helpful for people that might want to buy one of these, because these are still current models, these are still being sold, these. The Hoover Dynamic Mega. Not a bad tumble dryer actually, for the money it costs. And again, I'll make another mention for Florence Ballard, A3060, that's Brandon. Still enjoy watching all your British Heart Foundation searches and finds, or whatever it's called, where they show all the the stuff that he gets from British Art Foundation and the washing machines that he tests on there. I do like watching those. We get some real old knackers coming in. Sometimes I think, you know, that people have got knackered washing machines, and rather than paying the council to take them away, they just donate them to the Art Foundation, and they know they've got problems. I think it's wrong the way they do that, the way they donate machines that don't work properly. It wastes your time and everybody else's time, and the van drivers who have to pull them out of the houses. I think that's a bit sad really the way they do it, but there you go. So that's the load in, the door closed. And what we'll do is we'll just put that out of the way. Whoops. Knocked the camera flying. I do apologise about that. It's right on the edge of the worktop here. It's a bit difficult filming in this kitchen, to be honest. Not really that many places to put the camera that focuses in properly, even though it is on a tripod. Right, so as on the other video that I did, I only put the conditioner in this later on in the cycle because it tends to flush the conditioner through before it's supposed to otherwise. I have to know all this machine's little quirks, and you get to live with them in the end. Right-ho, that's the powder gone in. Turn it on at the wall. I always have them turned off when they're not being used because circuit boards are always live even though it's turned off, and you know, you never can risk things going wrong. There we go, that's closed up. Now we're going to turn it on. Let's bring the camera down as we turn it on. So here it is then, on for the next load. I don't know how many more it's going to have left in its life, but you never know, this could be its last ever load if the drum bearing goes completely on it. We'll just have to see, won't we? At least I've got some video footage of it to remember it by, eh? So we're on a 40° synthetic, and I want the rinse plus on there, which gives it a higher water level. And we're going to do a no spin. In fact, no, we'll leave it on 800 because I know roughly when I've got to put the conditioner in. So it's an 800 spin, a rinse plus, and 40° synthetics. And let's press start to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the table, and then we're going to stand the camera in front of the machine for the action. So I shall leave you with the main wash now for about, how long have we got left on this? It's about 15 minutes. So basically watch it doing its extra fills and its tumbles, and then I will end this video and we'll come back later when it's on the when it starts the rinses cycle. So we're coming to the end of the recording time now on the main wash. As you can see, it's reached the 40-degree temperature, and the recirculation pump is on, and it basically carries on in that style and fashion until the rinse cycle starts. And the time remaining on the display is 1 hour 35 minutes at this point. Normally the rinses will kick in around about the 1 hour and 2 minutes mark on this cycle. So that's when we'll be returning to start filming the rinses.